Hello and welcome. My name is Yasmin Garcia-Sterling. Michael Pitch and I will be presenting to you about digital wayfinding's impact and implication to hospital systems, looking at what wayfinding is, why digital wayfinding emerged, and in what ways it can be integrated to support the UK hospital system's concerning needs. Historically, the term wayfinding was used in Kevin Lynch's 1960 seminal work on how users navigate from place to place. Understanding a user's involvement with space, this wayfinding he coined to demonstrate the techniques or hidden logic that is used by users to find unknown or mislabeled routes. He formally defined it as a consistent use and organisation of definite sensory cues from the environment. The revolution for signages followed in the 1970s, where designers shifted from an artistic architectural vision towards integrating function in this physical space of user orientation. Wayfinder was then referred to as an information system, verifying its importance to be legible and user-recognizable. Its definition advanced to strategically connect individuals to a physical place, constituted by a sign system and designed as a network. In the last 20 years, digital wayfinding has grown exponentially, heightening a user's social technological push. And where there is more value to how users are connected, digital wayfinding is defined as a channel that maximizes the freedom a user has, capturing information from analytics to automate personalized route navigation and maintenance. To paraphrase, digital wayfinding drives connectivity, but also emphasizes Kevin Lynch's coined definition of wayfinding by solidating the gap between the environment and to the observer, which lessens the risk of disorientation. Currently, hospital systems follow a functional approach to sorting wayfinding signs. However, hospital movement inefficiency is largely defined in the literature. A setting under user points of stress, anxiety and uncertainty instantaneously requires understanding these user changing patterns while also connecting the fluctuating diverse needs. It is relevant to innovate hospital system wayfinding as a solution to a much needed societal problem. However, digital wayfinding has rarely been used for planning and design in comparison to other fields. Since 25% of software has become location aware, areas that have largely benefited include retailers. For example, they use app technology to text their customers when they are near to shops. This is known as geofencing. Therefore, it would be a good idea to understand in what ways digital wayfinding can be beneficial to hospitals' changing needs. So why persist with digital wayfinding? Rather than a universal system, digital wayfinding can tailor the experience. It appears digitally adapting is preconditioned a smart choice to support buildings digitalized. Information can personalize the experience through user data inputs made available, such as habits and movements. As users want to integrate their experiences, the location-based services from digital wayfinding solutions support navigation information, personalized locators, and instant communication. The challenges are a cost concern. A problem link shows that digital solutions broadly have been commercial, promotional and advertising-led. Since the initial investment remains high, decisively their fee-dependent system hinders digitalizing information commons to take root elsewhere, such as in planning and design, thus converting a hospital's universal system and optimizing user experience. Its dependability requires also weighing its economical investment value. Digital wayfinding has dominated outdoor route navigation, including Google Map and Citymapper that offers directions of cartographic information leveraged from increasing data, consequently disrupting economies. This diversification in user experience demonstrates a major shift in wayfinding expectations. The prevalence for digital wayfinding accuracy and speed encapsulated are two key mechanisms: a global positioning system, GPS, with a geographic information system, GIS, compressed through algorithms in order to narrow user biases. Firstly, GPS enables a collection of continuous location and time information for outdoor maps, aligned with a user's wayfinding expectation in real time. An average of 54% of active users practice online mapping and mapping navigation services in comparison to paper maps. This number equally display age-diverse respondents using GPS navigation, as seen in Good Child 2007. The tracking accuracy is to become replicated with an indoor GPS. This is known as GIPS, although there is no current standard system. GIPS requires installing node devices, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth beacons or dead reckoning to localize with mobile sensors such as RFID or QR tags. Secondly, GIS seeks for key features allocated to personalize an area, revealing patterns, trends, and associations, automating how users can search their destination. Using this concept of crowdsourcing, geotag data has vigorously increased, while flexibility and agility should be emphasized. 700,000 records every minute from devices is collected, therefore it is no longer a necessity to predict user needs. It appears location-based services have become robust. A great example shown is in the gaming sector, who revolutionized digital wayfinding with Pokemon Go. To better understand the game, Pokestops are submitted from where users go globally and then immerse in augmented reality. Visual space overlaps with real-world space. This geographic classification to an area adds depth. However, academics such as Hartig et al. 2003 highlight digital wayfinding's increased specialization is solely controlled by how a user personal purpose represents a place, arguing the greater accessibility and universal understanding of functional navigation should decrease any demand for digital wayfinding. It heightens that there is a consensus in research to show wayfinding cannot innovate its systems into digital wayfinding since it affects a user's spatial decision-making to navigate space. Environmental psychologists Parker and Evers 2017, Dalton et al. 2019 identified digital wayfinding lacks identifying sensory cues from the environment and removes contributions of others in wayfinding decision-making. With a loss of understanding a physical sense of scale, it removes a user's spatial cognitive process that enables to recognize a location. For example, users who navigate head-down via smartphones are isolated from landmarks to create memorable images without privileging a location, known as allocentric. A good functional universal wayfinding system is the Legible Cities movement, founded in 1990 in Brighton and is still used today, creating public information boards holding local maps displayed. These help to develop lasting mental maps. Subsequently, due to the success they have made, they have moved into an iconic global movement. On the other side of the coin, proponents of digital wayfinding state that this disregards the conditions to differentiated styles of learning spatial knowledge that is required to meet user legibility. Firstly, functional wayfinding lacks engagement from end users and their requirements. It questions the arbitrary decision-making behind the signs. For instance, in the Legible Cities movement I discussed, there has an estimated 50 specialists per local city working on each city movement project. Yet, to clarify the term legibility, it's best displayed when chosen by both the user and the professional combined to input the characteristics of sorted designs. Secondly, static means and physical wayfinding signs have also failed in meeting the built environment's reforming conditions in real time. The UK government 2011 correlation estimates to reduce 20% in capital costs by the built environment growing digitally exponentially. Therefore, strategizing according to the growing expectations by users, digital wayfinding offers an opportunity to align with those user practical needs and needs relating to their identity. Since digital wayfinding emerged, initiatives have fueled research, but the underlying uncertainties that digital wayfinding detaches the user from the environment questions whether automatic mapping directions would filter out a correct impression for users in hospitals. And since it cannot guarantee legible location awareness against the conventional universal wayfinding system adopted by Lynch 1960 and later functionally modified, the growing debate in this research advances beyond understanding digital wayfinding characteristics and more towards a statement made by Jeffrey 2017 to recognize a symbiosis between physical and digital information into transverse environments as inevitable. Understanding Wayfinding in Hospital Systems, Department of Health 2005 publication states, hospital facilities were and are committed to aligning effective wayfinding. The more recent change in patterns in hospital systems are required to support the NHS England movement to help shift power to patients and citizens, as hospital wayfinding systems guide users within major events and are responsible to support them to feel more at ease with their surroundings. Wayfinding must align to those needs, primarily since patient social issues such as stress, anxiety, and apprehension beyond physical wellness. Wayfinding has been reported to affect the reoccurrence or length of these conditions. Therefore, it is necessary to understand a hospital's information system's responsibility of linking people with space. Lynch's 1960 theory of a good city form through formal and informal sensory cues helps assess a user's experience of space with 6 factors. The framework contains 2 gauging groups of cues linking the space to users. The formal components identity to differentiate one space from another, and structure, the object that is placed in the space in relation to the observer and to the other objects. Both cues refer to visually utilizing hospital systems' physical elements and functionally orientate, although within hospitals it appears to be more restricted as it coincides with the strict hygiene requirements. This implies the requirement of near-identical corridors, and it signifies a lack of distinctiveness and minimum ornamentation. Instead, colours and specific signs are coordinated to inform users. Whereby meaning cue, Lynch's 1960 states, it is that which the place and the stands for or represents. Based on the user's needs to hold a system accountable, it is argued that not all users would know what the hospital terminology within the signs or colours interpret as, and which also this lacks a user responsiveness. While the informal components are discussed less in literature, Lynch 1960 claims none of these are to absolute desiderata, which highlights its intangibility. These type of sensory requirements characterize digital wayfinding as it specifies individual spatial behaviour, combining a social, cultural and mobility behaviour. To elaborate, what is transparent and congruence relates to the individual patterns that vary in attachment, warmth, relaxation and interest. For example, for some, the fatigue in hospital systems is listed as the top of complaints from users feeling lost, and to re-quote the NHS 2013, the £108 for every 6.9 million missed outpatient appointments in the UK. Both of these examples demonstrate that those users' own spatial experiences were not rooted into the network. Bound to the user's observation, legibility cue is emphasized as the most important. For example, hospital systems' lack of congruence imply the users to not feel at the time freely open to awareness, thus cannot corroborate spatial cognition. Overall, it is clear for a symbiosis as the information system requires all Lynch's good city form cues to be factored valuable for optimal delivery of hospital space to meet a diversity of user needs. As it stands, hospital systems link people with space from sourcing from formal cues, capturing the identity to structure first. It means healthcare logic is reliant on sorting user cognitive maps to identify its meaning. However, it is common for cognitive difficulties to be affected from mental stresses including anxiety, typical to a hospital setting, causing symptoms of attention, memory and reaction time being affected. So for example, if a navigation sign is in front of someone within a hospital and they are in distress, there is a likelihood that they may not recognise or misinterpret the information. With a lack of attention to understanding the value in informal cues, including transparency, congruence and legibility cue, there's also been a risen equity lost in hospitals. The consequences that have included late or missed arrival to outpatient appointments or inpatient admissions, the strain on healthcare provider time to guide these lost individuals, and also junior doctors getting lost during these urgent crash calls. Therefore, where a hospital's mission is to bring power to its users, it shows that it has not been possible with prioritising space and a universal reasoning. In the recent years, demands for enhancing user needs have been acknowledged. Conclusions made from Cooper 2010 and McClure 2009 state 1,000 research studies show improving a healthcare facility design can decrease medical errors, waste, and financial losses. This has led to a high volume of developed digital wayfinding solutions to meet the demand, automating personalized location-based services, and enriching spatial knowledge via a multi-attribute system. However, no improvement has been proven. Rather, an information dilemma has risen. Muller 2008 found hospitals remain to offer more signages in order to tailor to users, and at this point the implication shows causing the quantity of information to be overwhelming. For example, personalized engagements have included touchdown menus that allow people to send the map to their smartphones, and dynamic data such as doctor bio added to kiosks. These layers of data are personal and intimate. However, it has resulted to expound in optional information that disorientates users. This is called in computing as a filtered failure. Overall, integrating digital wayfinding has shown to inform users with identity cues of route choice but not legible route quality. So far, the rising of digital wayfinding relates to the information overload as another taxonomy problem, and to now finding a symbiosis to innovate hospital systems with digital wayfinding has remained challenging. Joshua Titus, CEO of Gozio Health 2018 states, the challenge posed by hospitals appear not technical, rather the innovation is not embraced by hospital culture. So how can we integrate digital wayfinding? Looking through the lens of the critical theory of technology by Feinberg 2005, it demonstrates technology has 2 points of view: how the technology is designed and how it is used. This engagement theory has provided a useful starting point to explore the use of digital wayfinding and explore the user's behaviours. Interpreting the position by Feinberg, technology from an economic standpoint must be coherently humanized in a social setting that it will be placed in. This approach shows hospitals sorted into formal queues remain to cartographic information strategies with one-way communication, withdrawing an interactive experience required under complex and time-sensitive pressures, as of a hospital. It's here where we confirm that the concern is not the technology, but rather the system concerning user performance. Although limited research has explored whether there is a structural problem in the system affecting the integration of digital tools in wayfinding. By acknowledging this, a technical system has shown promising from other disciplines. Specifically, Disney and Amazon have proven a symbiosis between physical and digital navigational elements to be possible. Looking into the Walt Disney World Resort, Magic Bands provide a system that connects data to the guests and all the facilities tailored to what they require, including but not limited to hotel keys, tickets, photo passes and payments encompassed in this one band. The RFID wristband is located at the key entry park points and interacts with the rides or queues. Connected with the Walt Disney Experience, GPS-enabled app combined supports the symbiosis experience required. Disney's success in customized and personalized and memorable touch is placed specifically in the hands of the user in order to then adapt to the space. With Amazon alongside other retailers, Macy's, Walmart and New Balance, the use of a chaotic storage model, a model used in the warehouse via an automatic picking system that knows where and when to go. With asset tracking capabilities through an interactive map, each asset can be displayed on the map. Thus, the robot is supported by an interactive floor, in this case it's an RFID tag, to navigate to where it is. In comparison to a hospital functional system, this concept of a chaotic storage model would be used in hospital locations, would show user destinations to be displayed on an interactive map, and then the information required by the user will be produced within an interactive floor to navigate from. Both highlight a phenomenon to improving the experience. Each of these two examples is viewed from a user-robot position and using digital wayfinding to search rather than source the physical sensory cues at their disposal. Thus, it has tackled journey planning to optimize the user experience and to search for their needs prior. To innovate with digital wayfinding, the nexus is between the universal contemporary planning of wayfinding and the level of human control that has the ability to affect the system. By altering and tailorizing space uses, where the user has the control to immerse with the wayfinding in new environments, both Amazon and Disney share two conclusions. They both identify removal of predicting user information, alongside not just seeing the user as a set of passive and inanimate properties, but it also includes viewing Lynch's sensory cues from the informal cues to then the formal cues that plays a key role in effectively innovating with digital wayfinding. Lastly, what has been presented to you today is the degree of user control that is required over space. This requires deep thoughts and must be cultivated to shift planners in planning and design to their systems to innovate a symbiosis, digital by default. Thank you so much for listening. If I can kindly ask you to take out your phones and access camera mode to scan the QR code. There are 4 simple questions that will help me on my learning journey of my PhD and supervised by my Professor Michael Pitt, who we both hope to make this journey a very prosperous one. Thank you.